Hey, Trails Collective, Ian here for the weekly rundown ending January 15th, 2021. Hopefully, this finds you all doing pretty well. Let's just get into it. In the media, I'm going to post up one link to an article that was, I think, commented on a few friends in the Running World's threads this past week. It's from the trailsisters.net website, a great website with really nice articles. Just a great community the Trail Sisters are. This one is entitled Trail Imposter Syndrome. And I'm mentioning it not just because it's not a good article and relevant and timely. I think I've heard or been aware of the phrase and what it's referencing for years. But I think I've heard it talked about or used quite a bit this past year. So I don't know whether there's some sort of kind of paradigm shift happening in the general mentality along the trail scene, whether there's a just an awareness of I guess more and more competitive individuals entering the scene. I don't really know, but it seems like I'm hearing it more. And so my view, and intentionally the slogan that I created for the Trails Collective, is connected by trails. And I'm really, even though I've got a competitive background, I've put on national championship races, sell, review, market gear. I'm, for all of you who know, I'm a pretty laid back individual. And none of that usurps really just a laid back view of, I don't know, just life, and including the trail scene. I feel like we all come at trails and community from different levels of experience or what we're looking to, I think, put in or take away or get out of it. We've got different motivations. And I think those various vantage points and levels and just points of view and personalities really make it the beautiful community that it is. So for all of you who are just getting into it, for all of you who have been into it for a while, and find yourself maybe put off by some of the machismo or the ultra of the trail scene, shake it off. For those of you who maybe find yourself conveying that vibe, just be aware that maybe it's a put off to some who are just coming at it from a different vantage point. We really want to bring more people into the sport and more people onto the trails and more people into the community and be welcoming for any and all. So check it out. Trail Sisters article, we'll plug the link. TC interview series, I'm filming this on Wednesday right now. Just wrapped up. Ellie interviewed.
Oh, sure.
Jim
I think during my off season of training, I do, and even into it, like when I have a day off, like I love to go hiking and walking around. It's just so, it's really nice and just like keeping your heart rate down. And well, at least the hiking that I do. I mean, I'm sure the hill repeats you're doing will get you up there, but you know, it does really just, it reminds.
Last week. Let's see, results. One from this last week, which we just got a video through, was a Batona Racing's Hainesport 100. And John and Vanessa, break down the day.
Hi, this is John Swanson.
And I'm Vanessa Klein.
We're coming to you from Batona Trail Races headquarters. And we are not experts at this at all.
No, we aren't.
So we're going to talk to you about the Hainesport 100 in 24 hour today. So hopefully we don't mess this one up.
So we had 11 runners run 100 miles or more from New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. Our men's winner was Michael Gagliardi, who ran nearly 124 miles. Our women's winner was Erin Carrara, who ran her first 100-miler in 21 hours and 51 minutes. Both of those two, they were just moving, among others.
We had a lot of people who really did a really good job.
Yes.
It was a good day. It was a good 24 hours or so. We met a lot of people. A lot of people pushed through some times, and some people, it was just a great event.
Yes, definitely. Some notable things, I think, are Trishul Turns ran his 280th ultramarathon with us. He's just kind of an ultramarathon badass and legend. If you meet him, he's got a ton of stories. Also, Ken Posner ran 50 miles barefoot in frigid conditions. It was very cold out there. I was freezing, wearing a lot of layers and shoes, and he was barefoot.
He was amazing, absolutely amazing. So many of the runners were really, truly amazing. A lot of feats. We had Fernando Jasson. He ran under 24 hours with his 100 miles. Quite a few people. There was a good amount of people that went under 24 hours.
I think Crystal ran her first 100K. No, I'm sorry.
She's run a couple hundred miles.
She's run a couple hundred milers, but her goal there was 100K, and she reached that. We had Jen Miller, who ran a PR distance.
Yeah.
Just a ton of people. We had Chai Wen Chow ran 100 miles. It was incredible. It was a great event, and we are excited to do it this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
and we had the volunteers were awesome. I mean, we were out there cooking food. Everybody was masked up, except for our runners. Everybody was safe. It was really good, really impressive. And we had some township residents come by and take a look, and we might have inspired a few people into long distance running or walking timed events. So it was a good day for sure.
Definitely. So with that said, we do want to let everyone know that we will be opening registration for the Hainsport 100 and 24-hour within the next week. And in addition to that, we are adding 2 12-hour races so that those of you who are looking for something just a little bit shorter but still on a looping course, you guys can join us. One of the 12 hours is going to start at 9 a.m. The other one's going to start at 11 p.m., which will give us time in between to set up and just get everything squared away. In addition to that, we are working on a summer edition. Yay, we won't freeze. We're working on a summer edition on the same course, and we're just waiting for approval on our date for with the township on that one.
Also, we have a couple more races too on the fire. Big Woods Half Marathon in French Creek State Park. It's not your beginner type of half marathon. We kind of like adventuring. Vanessa and I, if you follow us on Facebook, we do kind of crazy stuff. So, and there's some little technical areas. Is it technical? It might be technical.
Like very technical.
Yeah, but we'll give you a generous amount of time to finish. So
a 6-hour cutoff.
6-hour cutoff, yeah. So it took us a few hours when we went on our own, enjoying the course. So yeah.
That one's March 27th, and it's in French Creek State Park, which is in Pennsylvania. And then we also have Valentine's in the Pines, which is a 4-mile race in Beechwood, New Jersey. It's at Jakes Branch County Park, and that is on February 13th. Registration is already open for Valentine's in the Pines and Big Woods, and it will open for Hainsport 100 and 24-hour within the week. Also, we're working on lots of other things. We've got some stuff in the pipe that we just can't release yet. We're definitely pushing to put on more in-person events. We know you guys want to gather and hang out with your friends, and we feel that we can do that safely and within the restrictions, and we are definitely pushing to put on more in-person events. So follow us on social media, either at Batona Trail Races or Beast Pacing, and we hope to see you guys soon.
It's one thing that we like to note. We are both runners and ultra runners, and I think it's pretty exciting to see and help everybody achieve their goals, creating events, and the more races, the better. All of us win, runners, race directors, everybody. So I hope to see you soon. Take care.
All right, and then one from this past weekend, Sunday, January 10th, was the Valley Trail Series winter race number 3. Went down with 3 distances and around 60 entrants on the day. Wins went to Anthony Bertolo and Dylan Lolia in the 4-mile, Russell Turley and Andrea Remick in the 6, and Henry Lowerk and Trisha Ignadowski for the 12-mile. I was able to connect with Valley Trail Series crew, Lenny and Courtney, as well as the 12-mile women's winner, Trisha, on the series and how the race day shook out. Trisha, as a side, and just connecting with her in a Facebook thread, is planning for August to run the full length of the Erie Canal. I think it's like 300 some miles. I think she's going to try to do it in like 7 days, which sounds pretty cool. So we'll try to keep up in tabs with that. But in any case, I'm going to plug them back to back here, Lenny and Courtney and Trisha. Cue us into what you're after with the Valley Trail Series, and then Trisha, how the race shook out this past weekend.
Hey guys, my name is Courtney. I am one half of Valley Trail Series. My business partner and co-owner in this venture is Lenny Cottrell. Him and I met a couple years ago when I joined his gym CrossFit Escalate, and since then ourselves and our friends have been running and training trails in the northern New Jersey area, New York and Connecticut. So the idea for Valley Trail Series kind of grew from there, and we just wanted to kind of gather a community and start racing a little bit closer to home and expose people to the awesome systems that we actually do have in the area, despite it being so populated and being so close to New York City. We keep it super basic, super bare bones at our core, mainly because we want to focus on what's important in running trails. And the main thing that we see in that is having a community and having that camaraderie and really being able to escape and clear your head and get out in nature and challenge yourself. Whether you're a rookie or a veteran, the trails aren't always forgiving, especially in this area. It can be definitely technical, and we've just grown and expanded on that idea ever since. So what we were able to do with all of our free time during this past 2020 is we set up a series of 5 winter races, and they're quite literally called the Winter Race Series 1 through 5. We've had 3 races go off so far, a race in November, a race in December. Those were both at the Tenafly Nature Center, which was really great. We had a really great crowd for our first race. It connected with the vibes and the race feelings that everyone was missing and craving when there were none. So we were able to work off of that vibe, and we expanded into our second race, which actually ended up selling out. Because we had that limitation on COVID, we did have to set a limit, but it was still a great vibe, great community. And same thing happened with our third race that we just had January 10th. So looking back and kind of just talking about those, the first 2 races, races 1 and 2, were at the Tenafly Nature Center. They had distances of 5K, 5 mile, and 10 mile, flat but super technical, super rocky terrain. So if you're not into hills, that was really great for you guys. We'll see if we're coming back to them again next year. And then our most recent race was our first one at the Alpine Scout Camp. That was really awesome because the trails are much more forgiving there, but it did have some hills. So if that is something that you want and you're looking for, it's natural with trail racing. If that wasn't your thing, then we had the 4 mile, which was kind of just a bunch of rollers. So that was a lot of fun. There was a good amount of stream crossings in the 12 and the 6 mile as well. We saw that people had a good time. Not too many people got that wet, so that was wonderful. And just, it really embodied, all of our races so far have really embodied what we're looking for in this community, and they embraced the bare bones and they embraced the simplicity and just keeping it real and keeping it fun and focusing, like we said before, on what's important and why we're at our core. They were running to run, they were running to race, they were running to be in nature and try something new and just clear their heads and get away from it all, and we loved it. You guys it was an awesome community, and we're hoping to see you all and see new faces at the 4th race, which is actually almost sold out. So if you're looking to kind of get in on that, I'd say go and check us out soon. And the 5th race is in February, so February 21st. If I did not mention it before, the 4th race is on January 31st. So those 2, we get 23 people per distance or per heat and wave. We've managed to add another heat and wave if necessary, if enough people show interest. So by all means, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on any of our social media platforms, our email, which can be found on our website, or through Ultra Sign Up. We love what you guys are doing here at the Trails Collective. We really appreciate it. You guys are bringing a great face to the sport and the community, and we hope to see you in the future. Bye, guys.
Hi, and thank you to the Trails Collective for having me today. I am Trisha Ignatowski, and I'm here to talk about the Valley Trail Series. Last weekend I was able to participate in the 3rd out of 5 of their series. The race directors are Courtney Weisenborn and Lenny Cottrell. They have 4, 6, and 12-mile options for their races, and it takes place in Alpine, New Jersey, which is about a 30-minute drive outside of New York City, so it is perfect for the New York City trail runners that are trying to get out and have a little adventure, but not get too far away. It is a looped course, so the 6 and 12-mile go around the same course, and the 12-mile goes around twice. It is about, I would say, 700 feet of gain per loop, so it's not flat, and it's pretty good for being outside of New York City. It is single track, and it's really fun because after a certain point, it's on mountain biking trails, which are super fun and windy. So it's not flat packed grass trail, but you get a little bit of both of technical and downhill, and you get a little bit of that uphill. The race itself is very COVID friendly. They cap each race section at 25 people, and they have a staggered start where it's the 12-mile goes off, and then the 6-mile goes off a half an hour later, and then the 4-mile goes off a half an hour after that. So the course gets pretty spread out. Everyone has masks up at the start, and then as you spread out, you can pull them down. It's pretty new trail runner friendly, and it's also friendly to veterans who've been out there for a long time. You get a good combination for the 4-mile of just a little bit of uphill and going around, and then it gets more technical for the 6 and 12-mile. There are creek crossings. I myself slipped on ice and fell into one of them. Just the fun nature of trail running. The day itself was a really beautiful day. It was about 30 degrees, the sun was out, the first portion was very flat, so you're able to go pretty fast. Then it goes into a downhill around a loop where it gets a little more technical, where you have a strong uphill section. So that part I power hiked a little bit to get to the top because I couldn't really see the top, so it made more sense for me energy-wise to keep going. I was able to be with 4 other guys for most of it, so it was really fun being able to run with other runners on the trail, so you weren't by yourself too much. The race itself is very well marked. I believe the race director said there was about 200 pink flags out there for a 6-mile course, which is a lot more than you're used to for most trail running, so it was pretty easy to follow along for most people. They did adjust along the way for people who had difficulties at some sections, so that was really nice of them. And then, of course, the best part is it's a downhill finish. So after doing all the technical trails, you pop out onto a road, and I would say the last 0.3 miles is all downhill, which is really nice for a trail race. And then for me, this trail race is really fun, and the series is great because it's a lot of first-time runs for a lot of my friends, so being able to support my friends out on their first trail race was awesome. And then hopefully everyone gets out there for the next race. I know the 4-mile is sold out for the one that's coming up on January 31st, but the 6 and 12 are still open. And then the last of the race series is February 21st, and registration is still open for all 3 races, and I hope to see everyone out there.
All right, then upcoming events, January 16th, Sasquatch Trail Running's Frosty Fat Sass, 3.1 miles, 3 hour and 6 hour. I think it's still on, though I didn't check to be sure tonight. Goes down to the South Mountain Reservation in West Orange, New Jersey. The events all make use of a scenic 3.1 mile loop. And as I've mentioned in the past, it's a great event for those who like winter or those who dislike winter and need an excuse to get out during winter. So far, we haven't had much winter, so I imagine it'll be pretty mild, very runnable conditions. And to be seen whether it still runs with all the COVID situation continuing to rear its ugly head. But check it out in Ultra Sign Up if you are interested. And then registration's opening January 15th. The Hills Creek Endurance Challenge, 3 hour, 6 hour, 12 hours, set for May 8th in Wellsboro, PA. It's mostly single track 3.1 mile loop with 200 feet of elevation gain around Hills Creek Lake. That'll open an Ultra Sign Up here on the 15th. And then the second one that's on my radar that's opening is the View 25K, set to run on November 7th in Heiner, PA. It's an additional option to give runners a fall opportunity to hit the Heiner trails with around 3,000 feet of elevation gain. And actually, I'm just going to roll in and make it a little bit longer episode. But let's roll with one this week because I've got enough on deck with trying to get these trail reviews squared away. Product reviews, that is. So FKTs. For FKT should be Friday! All right, Delaware. Matthew Mata, 1 hour, 15 minutes for the Delaware lowest to highest. Matt's coming in on a strong run of 8 FKT since November, posting up another gem of a route. This one's being 8 miles with 670 feet of elevation gain. And the route description there indicates that this area of the state is surprisingly hilly. Come on, man. 670 feet. It's all Delaware's got. Let's not use that hilly word. But nice work, Matt. In New York, Bethany Garrett's in 5 hours, 4 minutes for the roughly 18-mile Gray Skylight Marcy Circuit, one of the more iconic loops in the Adirondacks. Bethany's unsupported female mark lowers Kelly McDonald's mark from October by 36 minutes. Nice work, Bethany. Jonathan Zaharik, 14 hours, 8 minutes for the winter standard route of the Bob Marshall Traverse in the Adirondacks, only 30 minutes off his men's unsupported standard route. I think set in the fall of this year, maybe October. Justin Kowski, 1 day, 1 hour, 42 minutes for the Paumanok Path. This one runs 125 miles across the eastern portion of Long Island. I always forget just how big Long Island is and how rural it gets in the center to eastern part of Long Island. His men's unsupported mark comes in at 6 hours and under the men's supported 6 hours rather under the prior men's supported mark, or the current supported mark rather. Sorry, I was trying to relay that his unsupported mark is well under the supported mark. And in the process, and I was just thinking about that, that's a solid effort with 125 miles and 25 hours to go unsupported. So nice work, Justin, continuing on in 2021. And the last one, which we are going to mention, is in New Jersey. It was mostly roads, but I'm going to count it. This is teammate and good friend Cole Crosby. He ran point to point from High Point to Cape May, New Jersey, and just a state crossing. It was a pretty cool effort. It was his longest effort by far, and I am going to close out this episode with a clip and Cole cueing us into how that went down. All right, so Cole, take us out. See ya!